What's up, party people? This is Tarkus Mossberger here from Facebook, Jude's Junk Facebook comic book shop and YouTube channel, and that's our little ski resort behind us. Someone just said that they've been noticing that there's a lot of raw books selling for the same price as graded books, and why is that? And I know I've come across that question myself in the past, and what I've come to find is that's typically not moderns. It's not even like 80s books and 90s books. What you're typically talking about in that case is pre-1975 books. For one, they're older Silver Age books, and two, CGC charges a lot more to grade those pre-1975 books. Also, as the books get above $400, they charge more. So if it's pre-1975 and it's above $400, they charge more. And if it's above $1,000, CGC charges a lot more. And if it's, I don't even know if there's any magazine size pre-75 that are, everything I have is after 75. I do have an Elric, I think that was 73. But that's where you'll see a Spider-Man, a raw book, sell in the raw condition, very similar to a graded book. There shouldn't be that much of a discrepancy if you can accurately grade it. So if it's a 5.0 raw and it's a $1,000 book, okay, you put 30 bucks into it and grade it, and now it's a $1,000 30 book. So the discrepancy between a $1,000 raw book and a $1,000 graded book is probably not going to be that much of a difference. Also, what you have is people trying to bump the grade with a cleaning or a pressing. So maybe they've got they think their skills are better than others, so they'll be able to buy that at a raw. They look it over and they put a lot of weight in their own ability to grade a book. So if the guy is saying, hey, it's about a 5.0, and you look at it and go, ooh, I think I can get that to a 6.5. And you can look at the book a lot closer when it's raw. When it's in a case, you can't look at it as closely. You can't open it up, see discrepancies. You can't really look closely at the spine as well as you could a raw book to see if you can press and crack it and get a grade bump. So maybe that would be an attraction of a raw book, especially in person, is looking at it real closely. But the cost to grade pre-75 Silver Age book, you're looking at $1,000. I'm sorry, not 1,000. You're looking at $100 between, including pressing. Now, if you're not going to pay for pressing, you're going to do all the pressing yourself. Well, then you got to consider the value of your time. But $20 at CGC is a good standard value, so you might as well include pressing in the cost of the grading, because your time is worth at least $20. So you're looking at $80, $90, maybe $100. Especially with shipping back and forth. You're going to ship it there. Even if you ship it there cheap at $10, $15, you're going to get it back, and it's going to be $40. And so that's $50 right there in shipping, $20 in pressing, $5 this, admin, $5, $8 labels, $10 labels now maybe. So you're looking at $100 for a $500 book. So if I can get a $500 book graded instead of the raw book, I'll do the graded book every time, because there's a lot of people out there trying to take advantage of people who like to buy raw books. But a lot of people who buy raw books, they're putting a lot of value in their own ability to look over a raw book and grade it. But there's also a lot of ignorant buyers. I know people that just want a book cheap, and so they'll go try to buy an AF-15 raw, thinking they're going to put $50, $100 into the grading, and now they're going to be able to flip it and double their profit. Well, if you don't know how to look for restoration, if you don't know how to look for the qualification, if you don't know how to look for all the problems with Silver Age books, foxing and wear on the covers, there's gloss that can wear off, there's color fading, there's foxing, there's staples, there's rust. Brittle pages will cut down the grade if you're not really sure on how to grade. So there are the people that really think they can grade a raw book, and they'll look at it and be like, I think I can bump that up. And sometimes they do, and sometimes they don't. And that's the gamble. And there's a lot of fun in gambling, like lottery tickets. So a lot of our industry is made up of gambling. Hey, can I crack it and get a better grade? Can I buy a raw book and then clean it and press it and sell it for a lot more than I bought it for. You know, that is part of the game. There's a lot of ways to play the comic book collecting game, but that's one. But then there's people that just think they're going to save some money. So they're, you know, someone's advertising a book, you know, a 7.0, and it's way under what a 7.0 graded book would sell for. They think they get a steal, and come to find out, someone just cracked a 7.0 qualified or purple label, and now they're selling it for full price, and you're paying it thinking you're saving money when it's really worth half of what you paid. So those are the two people buying raws, I think. And then there's some degree of people in between. People that were ignorant, and now they think they're getting better, but maybe they're not as good as they think, but they're going to try to test their skills, and so they take a chance on raw. And then you have the people that are grading, or they're really good at grading raw books, and maybe they make a mistake, and they're not as good as they think they are, and they overestimate their skills. I do get, is that one of my kids running around? I do get that some people love raws. They want to read a 1960s book. That is a world that's not me. I'm into the art, I'm into taking care of it, but some people just love the feel. They want to flip through the pages of Amazing Fantasy 15. They want to sit down and imagine what it was like to read, because maybe they were reading in the 60s. You got to be pretty old to be doing that, right? But what just happened to my camera? Looks like it got getting cold. It's all grayed out in the bottom. It must be the cold air. But you have some people that just love raws. And if you love a raw, let's just say that your ability to grade is spot on. You think the raw is a 6.0, and then that 6.0 raw book isn't going to be worth much different than a 6.0 graded book. One has a professional grade in it, and the other one doesn't. That's really the only difference. And if the two of you come to terms and say, hey, this is about a 6.0 book, maybe it gets a bump, maybe it gets down a little. Yeah, I don't care. I think it's good for a 6.0 raw. And you just go for it, and you get it, and you buy it raw. I am not one of those people. I like the graded book. I'd rather have a 6.0 graded than a 6.0 raw. Some people might buy the raw and never even plan to grade it, and they just want to keep it raw. And then, like I said, that's a different world than me. I don't really play in that world, but some people like that. I think it's risky, because that's what we used to do in the 80s and 90s. Everybody bought raws. So I got ripped off. We all did. The dealerships, you know, there's a little tick in the black and they just put a marker over it, and us little kids had no idea, you know, until we learned. But in many cases, the sophistication of the quote restoration got more complex over time, and certainly as teenagers couldn't figure it out. So that's why a book that's a $500, $700 raw book sells for the same. Now, it could be a $700 modern, you know, Ultimate Fantasy 4 or something like that. You know, if it's $500, you know, there's differences also between the low grades and the high grades, potentially. You know, what you can do with a low grade. There's some tricks to bumping that grade up that might be different than, you know. It's very, very hard to sell a raw book 9.8 for the same as a graded 9.8. So what people will do, and I've gotten into this argument many times, one of the reasons I stopped selling raws, because I have a lot of raws that are 9.6 plus, and they very well could be a 9.8. And I charge double from the 9.4s, and people don't like that. Okay, well then I'll keep my 9.6 plus, and I'll take the gamble on myself and send them all in sometime. Maybe I should be doing that now. CGC has that Black Friday sale. So if you're buying a 9.6 and someone's selling that at a new near mint price, which is regular NM 9.4 standard, but it's really a 9.6 plus, well, then people will be doing that all day. They'll buy that 9.6 plus and think I can turn that into a 9.8. But the question is, that's not the question for this video though, because that 9.6 plus raw is going to be way under what a 9.8 is. So you're talking about the older books, pre-75, you're talking about worth over more than 400. That's typically where you're looking at paying the same for a raw as you do for a graded. Anyways, hope that helps, guys. Happy hunting.